food enthusiasts and political junkies, and welcome to another episode of Los Leftovers to Go. As we know, Republicans have shut down the government, and because of that, families will be struggling to put food on the table and will not receive food assistance benefits in the month of November. That's why we're out here outside of the DES office with community to demand that David Schweikert and Juan Ciscomani reopen the government.
We're going to be talking to community members and get their stories on the Republican government shutdown and how it affected them.
So stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. We're right in front of the DES office today, and who do I have this pleasure of speaking with today?
I'm Yasmin.
Hi, I'm Jose. Hi, Yasmin and Jose. Thank you so much for your efforts in coming out and supporting us today. I just want to ask you guys a couple of quick questions.
Okay.
So the first question is, families will not receive SNAP benefits this month due to the Republicans' government shutdown.
Right.
What do you think about the current price of groceries and food?
It's really high. Even if you have SNAP benefits, it's still pretty high. Some people receive only $15, but it still helps. It goes a long way.
Yeah, it sucks that some people struggle to know what like their next meal is gonna come from and everything. Especially since that most people are getting like less and less money every time.
Yes, yes. And when you heard of when you heard that politicians allow SNAP benefits to be cut off while prices keep rising, what was your reaction?
When,
I feel like it was just unfair. I feel like they're not really thinking about how we feel and what our struggles are.
right. Yeah, definitely unfair. They forget that we don't have the same tax cuts or we don't have the same luxury to as them, and we are literally living check to check, and sometimes we have to even decide if we want medical or food care.
Okay, and do you feel the same way that you feel, or you guys feel that other people are gonna feel with these cutoffs?
Yeah, I feel like most people will agree with us. We've been out here talking to a lot of people in our community, and we've
Hmm.
been trying to hear their stories and stuff. And I feel like everyone has like the same idea about what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of people in our communities are angry, um, devastated, worried because they don't know what the future is going to look like in these couple of months, and especially with everything being cut, they and insurance going up, it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah. I think that ties back to our first question. And moving on to the next question, how are these SNAP cuts affecting you, your family, or people in your community who are already struggling with the cost of living?
You wanna-
Yeah, I could go. I feel like it's making them struggle even more. Like some people are figuring out how to buy food. Like yesterday, I had a conversation with this man about how his partner, stopped receiving SNAP, and that they're struggling to figure out what their next meal was or how much groceries they should buy from now on every week.
Right. Yeah. Same. I had a story where you know a mom had to choose between healthcare or a therapist, or I mean groceries or a therapist for her son. So like that really touched me, because we shouldn't be picking which one is better or what we need most. It's like we should have it world what's it called, oh my god, free healthcare, like universal healthcare.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stuff like as inflation goes up, our check should go up as well.
And with considering these issues that your community has, and bringing back SNAP benefits, how do you think that will alleviate them?
I'll give them like one less thing to like worry about on their mind.
Right.
Give them like take the weight off their shoulders.
Yeah. And then they could focus on other things, that go day to day.
Yeah, like you mentioned, deciding on what's better, like the things that they already need, like
Hmm.
therapists and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on to the next question. What brought you out here today to stand up for families being robbed of SNAP benefits?
I used to have EDC myself, and like I really liked it. It gave me the choice to have like an option, to be actually able to go out with my friends and feed like myself and my parents to be used to buy me groceries every day and come home to a meal.
Yeah. I'm my family was helped through the SNAP program, so I know it helps, and it just I'm out here to help the community, be that voice that many people don't have right now. I'm a DACA recipient, so like if I can't vote, I want to be out here in the community, being active and showing that there are people that care and want positive change.
Yeah, and because of the circumstances that a lot of us are in, um, what do you think would be ideal to helping out the community and to get people out here to to stand with us like you guys are here today?
Mm.
Can you repeat that for me?
So what with our circumstances, how can we get more people to be like you guys and be out here today?
Uh, I feel like the main way is to like be honest with them and tell them the truth. That's what everyone here is for. Like we're trying to get the truth out of everything, and that if we all have like the same goal, that people will unite.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so we know children, elders, and people with disabilities will feel these cuts the hardest. Why do you think it's so important to fight so everyone can afford groceries and have food on the table?
What was the beginning?
With considering that,
Oh.
oh, okay. Well, I think we covered mostly everything, and I want to thank you guys for joining us. Any last words that you guys want to say to our viewers?
Uh, that everyone has a voice and people are power.
Definitely, for sure. Like I said, even if you think you can't vote or you feel like you can't vote or something like that, you can still make a change by getting out here and helping the community stay aware of what's going on and how they can use their power to change.
100%. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So we're out here at the DS office here in Phoenix, and we have the wonderful
Alyssa, nice to meet you guys.
Alyssa. Well, thank you so much for coming to this rally to stand up for families and to stand up for SNAP. We know it's a really critical time right now, and so yeah, I guess wanted to ask you a few questions about
Yeah.
what this moment means for you and for the people that you care about. So. Families right now will not receive SNAP benefits because of the Republican government shutdown. What do you think about the current price of groceries and food?
I mean, it's out of control. It has been since, like, it's very frustrating because I think that was a big message in last fall, and it's only gotten worse. So, like, especially like I'm particularly concerned about stuff like tomatoes.
Yeah. I've seen everything go up at this day and age, so I can definitely see how that specifically.
Yeah.
But how did you feel when you heard that politicians allowed SNAP benefits to be cut off while prices like tomatoes keep rising? What was your reaction?
I mean, I wish I could say surprise,
Mm,
but it does feel like this administration and really the Republican Party writ large is kind of okay with that.
mm,
It seems like that is not where they think priority investments are, and especially when you think about, like, we heard the story about how important access is and healthcare is, but these things are connected, and so if they're willing to sacrifice millions of people's healthcare to get what they want, and then on top of it refuse to release the funds and refuse to fund SNAP, they must want this.
right. No, yeah. So, how are these SNAP cuts affecting you, your family, or the people in your community?
So I am grateful I am not personally impacted, but a lot of my friends, their families rely on SNAP. I'm also like active in the farming and gardening community, and so I know a ton of people who are involved in the farmers markets or work for nonprofits or are involved in the food banks or any kind of food distribution, and like they are also all going to be affected because like in recent years we've been able to like build these wonderful programs where folks on SNAP can actually access, good fresh produce in food deserts, and that mechanism is going away. And so all of these, people who are rebuilding American agriculture are going to struggle.
Right. No, yeah, and we're seeing that already, and on top of that, we're already seeing that children, seniors, people with disabilities are being affected, and they're going to get hit the hardest. But why do you think it's so important to fight for everyone to make sure that people can afford groceries?
Because every single one of us has incredible potential, and when our kids go hungry in school, they can't focus on learning.
Mm.
When folks who are dealing with various health issues or a disability like can't get nutritious food that is going to assist them. I think about relatives that I have who have dealt with things like gout or diabetes. Having that fresh food and having access to the right kinds of food is so important that it's the entire mechanism for how we raise talent in this country, because all of us have the potential.
Right. No, yeah, I agree completely. And, we're definitely in a moment where, there are several Republican lawmakers that are at fault for the moment that we're in. But what would you say to any one of those Republican lawmakers or even your lawmaker about the current moment that we're in, especially when the cost of living is going up?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky. I am represented by a Democrat. I think, to the Democrats, I would say, I understand the choice to not, push to raise the debt ceiling for the big ugly bill, because it will kick so many people off health insurance that
Right.
that is an impossible choice. I would say, continue to push to release those funds. We have the money. It is set aside, even in a government shutdown.
Right.
It's there. It just needs to be released. And, to our state folks, like, I was so impressed when Governor Hobbs released like 1.5 million to the food banks this week. And I was so heartened to see our Arizona Democrats, put together a letter that they sent to USDA. And I would say, to Republicans at the state level, like, either we're going to have to feed people, or you need to push your friends that some of you attempted to overthrow the government for a few years ago. Push them to do that. Yeah, push them to fund these things because we need them.
Clock it where you see it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Alyssa, for coming out and obviously standing up for families. You're very powerful. So again, thank you, and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll see you around, and let's get these SNAP benefits.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yeah.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. We're here at the DS office, and who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
My name is Isabella.
Hi, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining us in our action. I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Of course.
First question is, families will not receive SNAP benefits this month because of the Republican government shutdown. What do you think about the current price of groceries and food?
Honestly, it's frustrating. We have hardworking Americans and Arizonans here every single day. Arizona's a predominantly Hispanic community, and we're constantly told that we're taking away the resources from this nation. However, it seems as though our politicians are gouging those resources from us and from children, and it's just unfair, and it's just very hypocritical, and honestly, no one's happy with it. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. The next question is, when you heard that politicians allow SNAP benefits to be cut off while prices keep rising, what was your reaction?
My initial reaction was, for me, I'm a young adult and I'm planning on going to college, and I'm honestly concerned about money with my family. I know my family will have to fund me, and I'm scared of, working twice as hard but getting significantly less than previous generations. And it's not just me, but it's also other people who go through this as well. We have families who work twice as hard than most average white Americans, yet they still don't get enough, and they're still struggling every single day. So no one's happy about it. Yes.
Yes. How are these SNAP cuts affecting you, your family, or people in your community who are already struggling with the cost of living?
Yeah, so I'm very happy to say that my parents have first bought their first house, which is a really great thing, but we're also budgeting and it's really stressful. But I also acknowledge the fact that not everyone has that same privilege. And so kind of thinking less about myself, but thinking about people who don't have those privileges, even though I come from a Hispanic household, there are other people who look just like me, come from same backgrounds, aren't able to access those resources.
What brought you out here today to stand up for families being robbed of SNAP benefits?
Yeah, well, it's just I feel like it's my civic duty as an American citizen to fight for others. This is what our country is based off of. We're supposed to be advocating for our own rights, and not just our own rights, but for others as well. This is the land of the home of the brave and the land of the opportunity. Why is there no opportunities for our families to flourish and become, great and amazing people? If there's no food on the table, how are we able to nourish the future minds of this generation?
Awesome. And if your lawmakers were standing here right now, what would you say to them about taking food away from our communities while costs keep going up?
Honestly, I would just direct them to the people over here. I don't want to talk to them, not because I have nothing to say, but I'm just so disappointed in them. And I feel like it's kind of like I'd rather feed them to the wolves, because they are on, I'm so sorry to say this, but they are wolves themselves, and they need to be treated, not treated necessarily how they treat us, but they need to get a taste of their own medicine. Yes.
100%. Um, Another question is, we know children, elders, and people with disabilities will feel these cuts the hardest. Why do you think it's so important to fight so everyone can afford groceries and have food at their table?
Yeah, well, of course, there's human beings and their lives are on the line. That's the basic thing everyone needs. It's common sense, and unfortunately, a lot of conservatives say, "Oh, we're pro-life," but once it comes to actual human beings, they leave the table. They don't want to be a part of the discussion, and it's just like, how can we advocate for fetuses that aren't even born and women who don't have the privilege to choose what they want with their bodies, yet take away SNAP from families who are actually alive? It's terrible, and it's important because, like I said, we're human beings and we deserve basic human rights.
Awesome. And well, thank you so much for joining us in our event. And any last words you want to say to people who are watching this?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Please get more involved in your communities. We really need you. And not only do we need you, but you need us. We have to advocate for each other and we have to have each other's backs. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for doing this work. And I hope you guys have more interviews.
Thank you so much.
Yes.